Ladies and gentlemen, Panda Trading here. Welcome back. Today is Sunday and market is low, so this is not a daily update. This is a competitive game for the week ahead. In this video, we are going to review what happened on gold last week, what the price is sitting right now, and build a full trading plan using the weekly chart, the daily chart, the 4-hour chart, and the 1-hour chart. Let's get into it. Right now, gold is sitting inside a correction. Price hardly half for several months, reached a major high, and since then it has been pulling back. On the smaller time frames, that pullback has turned into a range, so the bigger picture is corrective, but the short-term picture is choppy and sideways rather than one clean direction. Looking at the recent daily and 4-hour candles, price opened the week trading below 4,100 areas and then push up toward the 4,150 areas and then pull back again, then come back down and close near about $4,052. It was not a trendy week in either direction. It looks more like a balance with buyers and sellers taking turns. On the weekly chart, the bigger story is clear. Gold moved from around $3,960 up to around $5,600. That is a large bullish move over several months. After that high form, price turned down and has been making lower highs and lower lows on the weekly time frames ever since, all the way down to where we are right now, around 4,050 area. So the weekly structure has shifted from bullish to bearish since that top. Price is currently trading below the highs, but still well above the low where this entire move started. I don't see a clear premium or a discount zone, so I won't guess at that. What I can say here is that the weekly trend, based on the sequence of lower highs and lower lows for the next week, it tells me higher time frames still favor sellers on rally. So unless we start seeing a clear higher low form. Moving to the daily chart, we can see the same story in more detail. Price top out about $5,000 and then drop in a strong bearish sequence right here through March and April. There is a clear pattern of lower highs and lower lows all the way down. But here's the important part. Since around June, the daily chart has slowed down. Instead of continuing to break lower with strong momentum, price has been trading sideways right here and mostly between $3,950 to $4,200. This is a range, not a clean trend. I don't see premium or discount zones marked on the daily chart either, so I will not invent one. What I can say is that the daily structure still agrees with the weekly bias. It is overall bearish, but the recent price action shows sellers losing some momentum. Since price is no longer making fresh, stronger lower lows with the daily confirms the weekly bias in terms of direction, but the strength of that bearish move has clearly slowed down. The 4-hour chart is where we treat this as the execution time frame, and here the picture is arranged. For the last several weeks, price has been swinging between roughly 3,950 to around 4,200 on the high side, moving up and down repeatedly without breaking in either direction. What I can say here is from price action, it has swing looks corrective. Its legs up get sold and its legs down get bought. That is the definition of a range, not any pussy trend. Because of that, the 4-hour chart does not clearly confirm or reject the higher time frame bearish bias. It is simply telling us that right now we are inside a range and that the real direction will come from break up one side of that range. This is where the March chart gives us the clearest picture. On the 1-hour time frame, there is a change of character marked near the 4,085 areas, followed later by a breakup structure close to around 4,050 area. That combination shows a shift in short-term structure to upside from the lower that from around 3,970 on July. The price then rallied up to a high near around 4,100, circle which is circle on the chart. After that time, there is a second change of character marked around 4,110, followed by a second breakup structure, and there is a rising trend line connecting the low from July 18 with the more recent low from July 24. That trend line is currently sitting close to the 4,050 area, right around where price is trading today. So the potential buying area on this chart is down near that rising trend line and close to 4,050. The potential target above this is the fair value gap zone between 4,100 and 4,120 right here. Before taking anything, I want to see price actually react at trend line with some kind of confirmation, not just touch and hope. My main scenario for the week is built around that 1 hour structure. As long as price holds above the rising trend line near 4,050 areas, I'm watching for a bounce from that area, which the fair value gap between around 4,100 and 4,120 as the first target. For this to play out, I need price to hold that trend line and show a clean reaction there, ideally with the kind of structure shift we saw at earlier low on July 18. If that happens, this becomes the highest probability idea on my chart right now, simply because it is the only clearly matched setup in front of me. The alternative is straightforward. If price breaks through above the rising trend line near 4,050 area, that the short-term bullish structure on the 1 hour chart is no longer valid. There would be open door for price to move back and down toward the range low as we saw earlier on the 4 hour chart, close to $3,950. In that case, my bias for the week would shift away from buying the trend line. I would instead start looking at the market to test lower levels before considering any long positions again. I will not chase price in the middle of the range. If price is sitting between roughly 4,000 to around 4,150 with no clean reaction at either edge, I'm not interested. I will not enter just because price is near the trend line without confirmation, and if price never reaches my marked areas this week, I simply will not force a trade. Sitting out is always an option. Before taking anything this week, I'm asking myself a few questions. Is the weekly bias still bearish overall? Does the daily chart still agree with even some slowing down momentum? Has the 4 hour chart given any clean breakup trend? And has the 1 hour time frame chart confirm a reaction at the trend line or a fair value gap, and I'm only acting at one of these marked area, not empty space in the middle range? As few reminders before we go, always wait for confirmation before entering, always protect your capital first, always use a stop loss on every trade, no setup is guaranteed, no matter how clean it looks on the chart. This video is for educational purpose only. This is my complete trading plan for gold this week. Trade patiently and let the market come to your levels instead of chasing it. If you enjoy this kind of video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll also post 1 hour updates during the week, so see you next one.